It's a very unique training situation. He's been with Pierre Paganini as a strength and conditioning coach, I think, for about 24 years or so, 20 to 24 years. And Pierre is one of the most amazing human beings I've ever seen in terms of strength and conditioning, and specifically how he does it for tennis. When I coached Roger, Pierre and I would talk probably 2 to 3 weeks before the training block started, and we would take a 3-week block and he would tell me what he needed and when he needed to do it. I would tell him what I needed and when I needed to do it, and then we would put that jigsaw puzzle together. And so the first week or so, he would just do strength and conditioning with Pierre to get ready to put his body through the rigors of the tennis court. And then after the first week with Pierre, I would show up in Dubai or Switzerland, and we'd go through 2 weeks of tennis and strength and conditioning, where everything is done in a way that's very meticulous and also very different. Roger is one of the best I've seen at adjusting to things that are surprises. For instance, there's some days where we would schedule practice and he would practice from 8 to 11 at night and do nothing at all during the day. And there were other days where he would just do strength and conditioning for 3 hours, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we would vary all the different things so that when he got to a tournament, if something wasn't quote unquote perfect, it didn't matter. And so now, to this day, I've never seen anyone that does a better job at not sweating the small stuff. Just doesn't matter. One day when we got to the US Open, when we went to pick up his rackets, he asked the stringer, "What'd you string my rackets at? I forgot to call you yesterday and even tell you." And the stringer told him, and he said, "Okay, that's fine." And he just walked into the locker room. Again, just doesn't waste energy on stuff that really can be emotionally draining. And I think that that's kind of how he goes through his training. That's how he goes through his life. And I think that's probably why he's so happy. One of my favorite stories was in 2012 at Wimbledon. He was playing Julian Benneteau, might have been the second round of Wimbledon. And he lost the first 2 sets. In the middle of the second set, I saw him jar himself and come up kind of gingerly. And he was down 2 sets to love, and I could see he wasn't moving well at all. And some way he ended up winning in 5 sets. So we get into the locker room, and I said, "Geez, great match, way to tough it out. You played really well the last few sets." I said, "Are you okay? How do you feel?" He goes, "My back went out on me in the second set." And I said, "What do you mean you went out?" He goes, he used the term, my back got blocked. And he was literally sitting like I'm sitting on a table and couldn't move. And I said, "So what goes through your mind when that happens?" He said, "Well, I just try to hang in there and find ways to stay in rallies and then see if I can figure out things that give me more time to find solutions, you know? And so I just keep going and going. And then I saw he was getting tired, so I just found ways to keep the match going, and I ended up winning the match." And I said, "So what now?" And he goes, "I think it'll be a little better in a couple days." So lo and behold, we come back a couple days later, and it's a little better. Didn't really hit much on the day off. Little better. Cut to about 8 days later, he's holding the trophy, winning Wimbledon.